Hey everybody, welcome. It's been a heck of a trip already, and we're glad you're sticking with us. I hope you've already enjoyed some of the Fort Donelson, Fort Henry, Shiloh, Corinth coverage. Well, here we are moving on to another campaign, Brices Cross Roads. And to set that up, here we are in Booneville, Mississippi, at a house that's important, but I'll bet you I don't even know that this house exists. And to tell that story, I'm going to rely on Chris Mackowski, Emerging Civil War, who might pop on soon. But let's start with General Parker Hill's Battle Focus Tours.
All right, keep in mind now that General Sturgis's force of almost right at 8,500 to 9,000 men, they've been tasked to move down into North Mississippi, hit the Black Belt region, which is a very fertile region, and strike the M&O, the Mobile and Ohio Railroad, that terminates in Columbus, Ohio, and then down in Mobile, Alabama. Now, why are they doing this? That's because William Tecumseh Sherman is moving on Atlanta. This is June of 1864. Sherman started his Atlanta campaign in May of 1864. What's really critical is the rail line that connects Nashville to Chattanooga, Tennessee. All the supplies for the Union Army comes down the Ohio River, up the Cumberland River into Nashville, drops off, then they go by rail to Chattanooga, and then down to Sherman as he's moving down towards Atlanta. Forrest is heading out. He wants to head out. He gets permission from his boss, Lieutenant General Stephen D. Lee. First president of Mississippi State University in 1868, by the way. General Stephen Lee orders him to hit. Actually, Forrest asks for permission, gets orders to go on up and strike Sherman's rail line. But Sherman has already ordered this expedition, which is a diversion to keep Forrest away from his rail line. So the Battle of Brices Cross Roads, even though it will be a great Confederate tactical victory, will be a terrible strategic defeat because it keeps Bedford Forrest away from Sherman's rail line so he can do the Atlanta campaign. Now, on the 1st of June, Sturgis will leave Memphis, come all the way down through Lamar, and get to Ripley, Mississippi. He's at Ripley, Mississippi on the night of the 9th of June, 1864. Forrest has been called back, and he is now he's got his troops scattered here in Baldwin. I've used the wrong colors. I'm actually using blue for the Confederates and red for the Federals, but that's what happens when you get excited. Forrest he's right here in Booneville where we are, in Booneville, Mississippi. He has Lyon's Brigade, Rucker's Brigade, and Morton's Artillery. Baldwin has Johnson's Brigade, and up here in Rienzi is Tyree Bell's big 3,000-man brigade. He doesn't know, Forrest, specifically where Sturgis is going to go to hit the railroad. The logical way is to go to Rienzi. That's the best road. But Sturgis has made plans to go down between Baldwin and Tupelo at a place known as Guntown. Forrest learns this in the middle of the night. Now, the afternoon of the 9th of June, he's meeting here in this little house with Stephen D. Lee. And Stephen D. Lee says, look, you've only got one of your divisions up here. This is Abraham Buford's division. James Chalmers' division is down here in Okolona. What I want you to do is to, once you figure out what's going on, get on the train and fall back and bring your troops back down to Okolona and have your whole 2-division cavalry corps ready to fight him. He says, yes, sir, I'll take care of that. He says, but if things change, use your own judgment. Well, that's like giving Bedford Forrest the key to the city. Okay? So now Forrest learns that Sturgis is not going to Rienzi, but he's heading this way. So Forrest, on the 9th of June, the night of the 9th of June, he will have a council of war in this house. And he will talk to Lyon and Rucker and Morton, and he will make plans. He said, we are going to meet them at Brices Cross Roads. Forrest knows that ground quite well. All right? And so he says, we'll move out at 0400 hours, 4 a.m. He sends word up to Abraham Buford and Tyree Bell up in Rienzi, come on south and marry up with us, and we'll all meet at Brices Cross Roads. That's the plan here. Now, as they start heading out the next morning, Forrest is going to perform what we call in the military a commander's estimate. Now, let's take this map off, and I'm going to write out this commander's estimate for you. It's known as MET-T, okay? Number 1, mission. Number 2, enemy. Number 3, troops. That's your own troops. I'm going to skip to the red because my blue's running out. Number 4 is terrain and weather. And number 5 is time available. That's what a commander has to consider in his estimate of the situation. Now, as Forrest is riding south with Harlan Lyon, I'm going to read you what he tells Lyon. Now, Chris, come on over here, and I want you to put a check mark every time I cover one of these.
All right.
All right? He says, I know they greatly outnumber the troops I have at hand, they being the enemy. But the road along which they will march is narrow and muddy and densely wooded. They will make slow progress. How about this? He says the undergrowth is so heavy that when we strike them, they will not know how few men we have. Their cavalry will move out ahead of the infantry. And once again, he knows what the enemy's doing. Okay? And should reach the crossroads 3 hours in advance. We can whip their cavalry in that time. As soon as the fight opens, they will send back to have the infantry hurried up. He is predicting everything the enemy's going to do. He's crawled into their heads. You can't do any better than crawl into.
And it sounds like he's talking mission too. Like we've got to do this.
Exactly. We got to whip them first, and whip the cavalry first, and the infantry second. It is going to be hot as hell, he says. And coming on a run for 5 or 6 miles over such roads, the infantry will be so tired we will ride right over them. So again, he's predicting what the infantry is going to be doing, and he's also predicted the weather. I want everything to move up as fast as possible. I will go ahead with Lyon and the escort and open the fight. He always had a 35-man escort with him. These were not strap hangers who brought him coffee. These were the meanest tobacco chewing son of the guns you have around, who fought with him hand to hand right up front. That's why he's up front. Now, I
got to pass this. I don't feel worthy to hold your markers.
He's never heard of McT, but he just performed this magnificently. The commander's estimate of the situation. What are my troops going to be like? Where are they? What are they doing? What's the enemy going to be doing? What is my mission? Where's the terrain and weather's going to be like? And how much time do I have? He's done it perfectly. And it's all started here on the night of the 9th of June and will be completed as they move down to Brices Cross Roads. This is the forerunner of Brices Cross Roads. They will then move down to Brices and fight the battle that we've already talked about.
And one of the things that's, I think, really important for us to talk about, too, is like, this is a huge mismatch. We have got a man who is today considered like one of the Confederate A-team, Nathan Bedford Forrest, against Samuel Sturgis. Who is Samuel Sturgis? He graduates in that famed class of 1846 with McClellan and Stonewall Jackson, A.P. Hill. He's like 32nd out of 50-some guys in that class, so, kind of down in the lower third. He just sort of has like these middling commands. Finally comes to he's out at Wilson's Creek, where he's second in command after Nathaniel Lyon gets killed there. He assumes command, then comes to the east as part of John Pope's forces. He's there then at 2nd Manassas, South Mountain. He's with the 9th Corps there, and again at Antietam. He's one of the charges against the stone wall at Fredericksburg, and finally gets transferred with the 9th Corps out west, and kind of, again, middling commands till he finds himself here in charge of this expedition, and he's going to find himself woefully outmatched. He's going to have about 8,500 troops at his disposal over the course of this campaign. He's going to outnumber Forrest by more than 2-1. Forrest is going to bring about 3,500 guys, slightly under 4,000 guys to this fight. And as we're going to find out when we go to the crossroads in just a few minutes, all the cards are stacked against the Federals because Forrest is bringing his A game. We're going to talk about that with General Hills down at the crossroads in just a few minutes, in a piece of land that you made possible through your efforts with preservation. I'm Chris Mackowski from Emerging Civil War for the American Battlefield Trust. We are excited to have you with us here in Mississippi. We'll see you here again in just a few minutes. Thank you for supporting battlefield preservation.
Perfect.